Welcome back to MLB Now. Take a look at the Red Sox additions in the offseason. Very aggressive this offseason. Walker Buehler, Garrett Crochet, it's a bunch of relief pitchers that could have an impact. The big name there toward the bottom. He was signed late. Alex Bregman with a big AAV, 3-year deal. Nearly $40 million a year. Some deferred money, but that's the basic math of it. Red Sox, again, Rangers tonight, Globe Life Park. Red Sox took the opener 5-2 yesterday. Red Sox looking like a club that can contend. Front Office Insights presented by Sage. We welcome in Chief Baseball Officer of the Red Sox, Craig Breslow. Craig, Brian Kenny here. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Brian. Good morning.
Good morning to you. The Crochet deal, that was your big trade in the offseason. #1 in strikeout rate last year. We just saw him make his debut for your club. He looked pretty good. How badly did you want to make that deal this offseason?
Yeah, I think we went into the offseason understanding that it was really important that we address our rotation, both in terms of top-end talent and also just overall the depth that we could bring in. And, Garrett checks that box. A true #1 starter, a guy that you'd feel comfortable ending a slump, starting game 1 of a postseason, or, kind of carrying the staff. And I think when you put him next to guys like Tanner Houck and Brian Bayo and Cutter Crawford and others, obviously we brought in Walker Buehler as well. You feel pretty good about the rotation, both in terms of kind of the top end ceiling and also the overall depth.
The Devers-Bregman situation, I mean, that's your best hitter in Rafael Devers, and you're signing a guy who also plays his position. At the very outset, when you were just planning it and talking to Bregman and his agent, how did you envision that would play out?
I think we wanted to take a bit of a wait-and-see approach, see how the roster came together, see what spring brought. There's always some unpredictability to how things progress over the course of spring training. But also, at the end of the day, the obligation that we have as an organization is to put the best team we possibly can on the field. And right now, the way that lines up is having Alex play third and Rafi DH. And, I think Rafi deserves a ton of credit for taking the position that winning supersedes everything else. And if our best team has him at DH, then we saw his willingness to do that.
How did you communicate that to him, Craig? Because it seemed like when he came in spring training, he's like, no, I'm the third baseman. How was that explained? How was the communication there?
Yeah, I think it makes the most sense to keep some of those conversations between us. But we've had a number of conversations. We walked through, the situation. I think AC deserves a ton of credit for his ability to build relationships with our players. And ultimately, you want players who are incredibly competitive, who want to be on the field, who want to contribute in any way that they possibly can. But you also want guys who put the team first, and that's what we saw happen here.
Was that a tricky situation? Again, I know a lot of clubs, I give you credit because, look, you're putting the club first, but that's your big bat. That's your biggest, contract. How tricky is that situation saying, hey, we have to make this move. It's for the best of the team?
Well, I think anytime you have to make, decisions that involve people and super competitive people, it's tricky, it's difficult. At the same time, if you're guided by what is best for the organization, what's best for the team, then I do think it makes those conversations a little bit easier. And like I said, I think Rafi deserves a ton of credit for putting the team first.
You have a very good position player core. Wilyer Abreu can get kind of lost in the sauce there. Slightly under the radar. He had a 114 weighted runs created plus last year, 3.5 win player, tremendous defender, 2 home runs yesterday. What's the ceiling for Wilyer Abreu?
Yeah, it's really easy to talk about Willie the day after he hits 2 home runs. I think 1 for each of his newborn twins, right? But I'm not sure we've tapped into the ceiling because last year he largely was platooned. I think his approach, his plate discipline has taken a step forward, especially left on left. We saw him with a great at bat yesterday where he worked a walk, but he's able to impact the game in so many different ways. He's a good base runner. He's got a great arm, obviously a Gold Glove defender, and then the combination of being able to work an at bat and also hit the ball out of the park. So we're really excited that he's a part of this young core that we've got.
Craig, we talk metrics a lot on the show. We've done that with you for years. The fielding metrics, I'm sure you have your own, but the ones that are publicly available are often conflicting. I want to take a look at like Jarren Duran coming off a tremendous season. Defensive run saved +17. Fielding run value, that's the StatCast metric, only +8. It's still plus, but it's not superstar level. Same thing now, Cedar Rafaela, who's playing center field for you, is +12, and then he's +6. That's a big difference there. How did you make the call to put Rafaela in center, Duran in left, even with both having outstanding metrics?
Yeah, so one thing that I would want to call out is it's easy to look at metrics in a vacuum. I think it's really important to get the context of what Jarren Duran did in the outfield as a defender last year relative to what he did in 2023. So we saw significant improvement. Credit to Jarren, credit to Kyle Hudson, our outfield coach. And we felt like with Cedar, he's a gifted defender who we probably didn't see the best of him last year because we asked him to do so much. He was playing shortstop for half of his playing time. He was playing center field for pretty close to the other half, and outside of that, he was also moving around the diamond, played some second base, and often he did all three of those things in the same game. And so we just felt like there was a tremendous defensive ceiling if we could have Cedar settle into center field every day. And Jarren had shown that he's more than capable of playing both center and left.
Okay. Do you have your own numbers, defensive numbers?
We do, yes.
How different are they from what we see?
Generally directionally aligned with some nuance. Obviously, we are trying to kind of build out our own algorithms that we believe, are kind of both descriptive and predictive. And if they aligned exactly with what was publicly available, then we probably are doing redundant work internally. So I think it's helpful that they differ a bit. Okay,
interesting. Yeah, there's only so much you can tell me. I get it. You have the number 7 prospect in the sport, Christian Campbell. He got his first hit yesterday. You also have close by Roman Anthony, Marcelo Mayer. They're number 2 and number 12 in the minors. What is the plan for the bumper crop to come together?
Yeah, I think all 3 of them are incredibly talented young players. We're excited about having them in the organization, and all players, have opportunities to develop. The job for the organization is to balance the need for development with, the need to go out and win games and try to put them in the best environment we possibly can. Obviously, coming out of spring training, for us, that was Christian on our major league team and continuing to develop in the big leagues, while Roman and Marcelo will get some additional time in the minor leagues. But I think these are 3 guys who are going to have a tremendous impact on our organization, not just in 2025, but beyond. And also, for the 2 guys specifically who are still in the minor leagues, 2 players in Roman and Marcelo who are going to dictate their timelines.
Craig, again, your team has made big strides. I applaud you again for, it seems like everything is aligned. Jake Peavy, your former teammate, we talk about that a lot, like everybody's focus being, in one direction. I think you've done that with the way you handled the third base situation and everything else. And those guys speak very highly of you, by the way. All right, I'll send you regards.
Thank you very much. No, I appreciate that. And Alex Bregman has come in and he's reinforced that kind of singular focus on winning. He's been a great impact on the clubhouse. But I think we do have a good core in place. We're excited to let this season play out. All right, Craig, great having you back on the show. Thank you so much, and best of luck this season. Thanks, Brian. I appreciate it. All right.
The showdown is not meant to cause offense or harm. The viewer acknowledges any reliance on the accuracy or completeness of said content should be done at their own discretion. The host apologizes in advance for any affront as a result of personal attacks.
All right, showdown day 2 here in the regular season for Chris Young. It's his opening day, so it comes in hot.
Very hot.
He has a measured hot take. I'm just going to react. I'm going to just jiu-jitsu this so you can do anything you want.
Okay.
You're saying the Yankees could be a last-place team.
Well, I came into the offices yesterday, and I went into the bullpen, and clearly I opened my big mouth. And I did make the statement that they have just as much of a chance of finishing in last that they do in first. And what I mean by that, I see them as middle of the pack now, and it's only because of the injuries that they sustained up to this point. Coming into the year, I thought the Yankees were a heavy favorite with Cole and Hill, Stanton coming back. But if I take those injuries, 3 major players in your team, and put that on any team, if it's the Boston or Toronto or Tampa, if I take away 3 of your best players, it's going to change your odds, in my opinion. And I think it doesn't represent the Yankees being bad, because I think the Yankees are still a really good team. It represents how strong I believe the AL East team.
It's not crazy. No need to jump in. Just show the Fangraphs odds here. If you show the Fangraphs odds, you see if you do Pacoda's more or less the same thing. And even if you just give it any thought, look, the Rays are not bad. Blue Jays, you can see an avenue. And then we just talked to Craig Breslow. Red Sox are good. The Orioles are a kind of a burgeoning powerhouse. So even if they have Fangraphs and have the Yankees at 86, they're not far from 81 wins.
What I take from this right here, BK, is that any team in the East has to really lock down. It's not going to be a blowout, run away with it with any team. When I think about the Red Sox, they're a lot of people's favorite pick right now. They look like they're clicking on all cylinders. The Orioles, I really believe, can slug with absolutely anybody. The Rays, the offense is normally what I would struggle with the Rays, but them moving to George Steinbrenner Field, I'm curious to see how that changes the dynamics, especially with the lefties that the Rays have in their lineup. Is that short perch in right field with the dimensions exactly the same as Yankee Stadium? Does that benefit them? The Blue Jays, I'm a little off the Blue Jays as well, because I don't feel like the starting pitching staff is as strong as we've labeled it in the past.
Pretty good, though. It's good.
There's a lot of guys who still need to bounce back. Springer has to bounce back. If Bo Bichette bounces back,
Bo and Vlad playing at a high level, they're at a different level. All right, so you're thinking the
storyline goes with.
You're thinking you're not big on the Blue Jays, so then the Yankees will be better than that. If you're not,
yes, but that still puts them middle of the pack, leaning towards the bottom, because I'm putting the Orioles and the Red Sox potentially above them. I think it's going to be a close race to the end. I'm just saying it's not a runaway race for anybody in the East this year.
If you were relying on Stanton being a big bad, that's fool's gold. What he looked like. But he just can't. He's just not there. But you think, all right, no Soto in the lineup, but look at the way Stanton looked in the playoffs. Yeah, but that's not how he looks year to year. You got a longer run. But Heel and Cole, you were expecting about 325 innings.
It's a big deal.
Of high level, and it's gone, or at least, mostly gone. That's bad.
You're not wrong. And then you're not wrong. We don't know what Goldie will be yet. We still don't know what Jason Dominguez is yet. I believe in the players. Volpe looked awesome yesterday. Judge, I think, is going to be absolutely fine. Nobody's picking him for MVP. I'm still picking Judge for MVP this year. You just don't know how everything has to click right for any team in the East to go right this year.
All right. National League meantime. Mackenzie Gore, 13 strikeouts yesterday for the Nats. That's against the Phillies. Alec Bowman of the Phillies had this to say: we should probably just stop playing at 4 o'clock so we can put a good product on the field for all the fans watching at home and paying money to come to the stadium. You can't see if the ball is spinning forward, backwards, sideways, or anything, so it's really hard. Griping or legit?
It's legit. I love Bohm. He's never going to bite his tongue, and I understand the root of what he's saying. Yes, you feel naked out there. If you're out there at 4 o'clock and the Shadows are playing, I remember, BK, being in San Francisco, and even in batting practice, we could not see the ball in batting practice, and we would go in the clubhouse and we would throw up a hissy fit about it because it's like, I can't see the ball, I can't make an adjustment, I can't see any kind of spin. I understand what he's saying, but I also understand from the game side, there's a lot of fans who love coming to the games at 4 o'clock. If you do the games at 1 o'clock, it's a lot of kids who can't come to the games. If you do the games too late, a lot of people can't come and celebrate opening day like you want to. So I understand the reason that it's at 4 o'clock, but both teams have to play in the exact same conditions. So I feel like it's fair across the board.
In ye olden times, think about it, when there were no night games, right? There was a good part of baseball history. Played all during the day. They played at 3 and 4 o'clock.
Facts.
They would play it because, again, the New York City was the center of the baseball world. It was intended, so think of a game on Tuesday, Wednesday. They're not playing at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. That's almost morning time. You can't. You play at 3 or 4 o'clock, so the businessmen, you could go to work, get on the train, go to the Polo Grounds, be home for dinner, because games are 2 hours. That was the golden age of baseball. So they played at 3 or 4 o'clock all the time. You just had to deal with it. I get it.
If we got to align the stars perfectly for every single game, it's just going to make it too tough on the fan base. So I think the fan bases are the priority. The players, I'm a player as well. I understand prioritizing the players as well, but it's a give and take.
You're in business, right? All right, Angels, White Sox, meantime. 8th inning, down 8-0. The Angels bring in Nicky Lopez to pitch. Position player pitching in the 8th on opening day. Is that good strategy or bad optics?
I hate it. I hate everything about it, BK. I hate.
Not on opening day. I'm with you.
I hate it. Not even just opening day. I hate it all the time.
See, I don't hate it all the time. It's strategy. Like, don't expend your resources, but on opening day, everybody's fresh. You got 13 guys out there. What
I
are we
hate
doing?
it all the time. We're fluffing numbers. After the 7th inning, the beer sales are closed off anyway. I mean, people are ready. In the 15-1 game in the 8th inning, let's put a white flag in the dugout and just let the manager have the guts to go out there and say, you know what? I got to either use one of my pitchers or I got to
So you would like to ban it overall, position player pitching?
I'm not a fan of it. I think we're so reactive that we're waiting for the line drive to get hit right back at the position player. It hasn't happened yet, but I feel like
50 miles
because
an hour.
he's out there literally.
It's kind of a good strategy.
BK, the way that position players are throwing, you might as well have an L screen in front of it because you're throwing batting practice. It's the reason that BP throwers put an L screen up in front of them when guys are hitting because it's dangerous. So as soon as somebody throws something up there at 60 miles an hour and gets a line drive right back up the middle, then we'll make the change. But it hasn't happened yet. Hopefully it never happens. But that's my biggest fear that comes with that.
Yeah, I'm not as afraid of that. It's a bet.
You don't have to stand out there and take the line off the chest.
Throw Nicky Lopez as a shortstop. He's your best fielder. So throw your best fielder out there. They have good reaction time.